13:30 a.m. K. Most reliable radio. When news happens, we...
I think I'm on. Let's see. Okay, it works. To anyone who can hear me, this is Chris Kennedy. Today is Monday, October 31st. Normally I'd wish everyone a happy Halloween, but there are much more pressing matters to address. First and foremost, I've only just managed to get back on the air. At some point during the evening of October 27th, the emergency broadcast system had taken over all airwaves in the Philadelphia area, including those of KROT. However, as of October 29th, there have been no broadcasts from the emergency broadcast system. As of now, there has been no word on why the emergency broadcasts have stopped, and we have not been able to confirm a reason from those in charge of the emergency broadcast system. It is unclear why there have been no emergency alerts, though it is uncertain if they have stopped permanently, or if those in charge of such alerts have merely been unable to broadcast. As a result, I'm going to broadcast as though I can be interrupted by an emergency alert at any time. This will also be my last broadcast, as I will explain after updating you on the current news. News stations throughout Philadelphia began to go offline around the 26th or 27th of October. Reports available provide conflicting information. Currently, internet providers have not stopped service, but service is not expected to remain consistent. Upload and download times are very unstable. Radio broadcasts are similarly sporadic, and as of yesterday, our FM sister station, 103.3 KROT, which had been off the air for 2 days, transmitted a vulgar broadcast that can best be categorized as pirate radio. I will not relay the contents of that broadcast. On a related note, utilities throughout the city of Philadelphia, such as water, power, and gas, are currently operational. However, the last official reports regarding public utilities indicated that all workers were being evacuated for their own safety. In an effort to continue providing these utilities, power plants, water treatment facilities, and other public utilities were automated as much as humanly possible, although there is no telling how long such measures will keep the utilities active. For anyone who has not had access to any outside information, here's what you need to know. On October 29th, Dr. James Ashford went live across various social media and video hosting websites in order to share the latest information the CDC had discovered regarding the Mortalis infection. In this video, Dr. Ashford explained that the CDC has discovered why there are varied time frames regarding Mortalis infection rates. This is due to Mortalis having the ability to mutate and essentially change its form, which means it could spread easily, but doing so weakens the Mortalis infection. If Mortalis mutates enough times, an individual infected with it can take months to die as a result of the infection, due to the particles of Mortalis having weakened themselves via mutation. However, if Mortalis does not mutate itself prior to transmission, it can infect its victims rapidly, in some cases killing the victim and reviving them within minutes. Along these lines, the CDC has confirmed that anyone infected with Mortalis dies and then comes back to life as an aggressive monster. If instead of consuming or inhaling the Mortalis infection, an individual is bitten by someone who has died and come back to life due to the Mortalis infection, then the bitten individual becomes infected with a strain of Mortalis that has not mutated. As a result, they become infected with a potent strain. Anyone bitten by a Mortalis individual dies and comes back to life as an aggressive monster at an incredibly rapid rate. Based on CDC data, the shortest time frame in which this sort of infection occurred was 17 seconds, and the longest time frame for it was just under 6 minutes. At the end of the video, Dr. Ashford revealed that he had been bitten on his forearm and, in an attempt to not become fully infected, revealed that he had acquired a firearm. I don't need to tell you how that live stream ended. Reaction to this live stream from Dr. Ashford has resulted in the public naming Mortalis-infected attackers as zombies. This is based on the pop culture monster due to the similar patterns of behavior and methods of infection. This information has been applied to the attacks at various hospitals treating the Mortalis patients in order to explain what exactly happened, and it is now theorized that prior reports of gunfire at St. John's was an attempt by soldiers to combat the victims as they transformed into these zombies. If this is true, then it is speculated that the victims of the Mortalis infection had been attacking staff at these hospitals for days prior to the attacks witnessed on October 25th. However, any speculation regarding what may have happened is now seemingly irrelevant and can never be confirmed. Since I was last on the air, the Pennsylvania National Guard and the Philadelphia Police Department attempted a rescue of all residents trapped in their homes. Despite initial success in pushing into heavily infected areas, armed forces were quickly overwhelmed by large groups of zombies. In what people online have been calling the battle for Broad Street, police and National Guardsmen were overwhelmed and routed out of the city. Most involved in the battle were infected and transformed into zombies. Those who managed to escape pulled back to roadblocks maintained by the Pennsylvania State Police. If you live within city limits, then unfortunately you are trapped. Eyewitness reports confirm that since the battle for Broad Street, the few residents who attempted to flee the city were quickly swarmed, killed, and transformed into new zombies. At this time, escape appears to be impossible, though some residents have attempted to escape regardless. News isn't much better for areas outside major metropolitan areas. Residents of Bucks County are fleeing as hordes of zombies make their way north on I-95. The National Guard, State Police, and remnants of the Philadelphia Police Department are reported to be fortifying positions in anticipation of the upcoming hordes. However, online, confidence in their defensive efforts appears to be low. Similar reports are appearing in online forums. If the information online is to be believed, then here are the updates for the rest of the country. Dallas, Detroit, and Seattle have been completely overrun with few survivors escaping to nearby counties. New York City and Los Angeles have allegedly become marked targets for firebombing in order to slow the spread of the infection. Miami, Salt Lake City, Denver, and Las Vegas are still seeing heavy fighting, though witnesses in the area have noted that the frequency of gunshots in those areas is steadily decreasing, implying that armed forces there are slowly being defeated. Finally, Washington, D.C. has gone dark. There has been no word from anyone in any capacity from the D.C. area over the past 2 days. On a more regional scale, the New Jersey State Police have raised every bridge connecting New Jersey to Pennsylvania and have formed defensive barricades to prevent the influx of zombies from entering the Garden State. Most of their efforts have been concentrated around the Lincoln Tunnel, where it was reported that large groups of zombies were moving from New York to New Jersey. Delaware has been evacuating residents to its ports in an attempt to help them escape. However, it has been confirmed that at least one of these boats has inadvertently taken on passengers infected with Mortalis. Communication with that boat has ceased, and there is no way of making a rescue attempt for any possible survivors on board. In Lancaster, civilians were reported fleeing north, rumored to be heading towards the Canadian border despite official statements from the Canadian government that their border was sealed and that no one would be permitted entry at this time. Globally, things are not looking any better. The French government has seemingly collapsed as their military forces are now in charge of coordinating defensive efforts. Germany's mobilization of their armed forces has been quickly overwhelmed by the number of zombies that has descended on Munich and Berlin. Reports state that zombies in Russia have been slowed due to weather conditions, though online commenters claim that these reports are propaganda pushed by the Russian government in an attempt to hide the devastation from their own citizens. Nations across Africa and the Middle East have seen steady increases in Mortalis-infected zombies. This comes despite all current data indicating that they have not imported any contaminated food from the vendors who supplied the sports stadiums and airports. China, Japan, Vietnam, and South Korea have all reported heavy fighting spreading throughout major cities, while militaries fall back to less populated areas in order to regroup. So far, all such efforts across the world do not appear to be effective. Finally, there have been reports that in Australia, there have been nuclear strikes on the cities of Sydney, Brisbane, and Perth. There is mass confusion over whether or not these reports are real, as current debate online rages on whether these strikes were official actions taken at the request of the Australian government or performed by a rogue faction of another nation's military. As Australia did not have any nuclear weapons, it is highly likely that these strikes were caused by another nation, though it is unlikely that anyone will ever find out just who fired upon Australia with nuclear weaponry. Some speculate that these strikes were the result of North Korea attacking Australia, though these are just rumors and cannot be verified at this time. As I said at the beginning of this broadcast, this will be my last one. I have gathered provisions and a weapon and will be attempting to get out of this city. I know my chances are very slim. I don't know if I will succeed, but I have determined that trying to escape and risking death is better than sitting around waiting to... No, it can't be. Ladies and gentlemen, if you can hear me, I don't know, but somehow zombies have gotten into my home and
We interrupt regularly scheduled programming to bring you the following announcement. Normal programming has been indefinitely suspended in order to bring you the following announcement. As of 9 a.m. today, Monday, October 31st, the city of Philadelphia has been designated as a target for firebombing. Although there are only 11 minutes until this occurs, this measure is necessary in order to stop the spread of the Mortalis-infected attackers, now referred to as zombies. Anyone still trapped within city limits will likely perish in these attacks. Your nation thanks you for your sacrifice in the efforts to combat the spread of the Mortalis-infected zombies. These strikes will commence from I-95 heading south into Philadelphia. This comes as a result of the Mortalis-infected zombies breaking through the roadblock established by the Pennsylvania State Police. The police and soldiers stationed at the roadblock, situated on the overpass overlooking I-95 near the intersection of Torresdale and Linden Avenues, were completely overrun by a horde of the infected heading north on I-95 towards Bucks County. As a last resort, extreme measures must be taken. Anyone still alive in the city of Philadelphia will be annihilated in these strikes. These measures are necessary to protect humanity. Your sacrifice will not be in vain. God bless America.